we'll see how he progresses. It'll be day to day throughout this week. And then Isaiah Horton, really proud of the way he fought through a lower body injury that he had, but just kept fighting through Saturday. Was certainly limited, still feeling that a little bit, but he just continued to compete, and he's someone that it doesn't surprise me that that's what we saw. But we expect him to be full go by the end of the week. We'll build up, as he can tolerate here early on. But Ryan, we'll go through the concussion protocol throughout the week. He'll have a day-to-day situation. Jaden Roberts, I think everyone probably saw last week. He was fully cleared. He's been out there on the practice field for some time now, but just for everyone to feel good and taking full go reps. He traveled. He could have gone in the game if we needed to, but didn't have him play out there. Tim Keenan will be week to week, just kind of moving forward, but he'll still be out this week. And then Jam Miller still week to week, coming along real nicely with his progression. So optimistic there here in the short future.
Thanks, Coach. Let's start with Chase on the far left.
I know most, if not all, coaching staffs, when they grade individual players, that they track loafs or instances of lack of effort. Did you see much of that when you looked at film on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, there's, we were certainly disappointed in some effort situations that happened. I think they came in different ways, and some of it's just flat out got to pursue, got to get there, and it surprises you sometimes when it happens, especially with certain guys because of the effort that they put in and day out. And I think there were some other things that come across as hesitancy, as a way I kind of put it. And I think after the game, probably would follow that up and say that there was a couple times where we just got to be quicker to get to a spot and do our job. It might be setting an edge and just, again, hesitant with the communication, kind of confirming, or just, we believe and have that confidence in what we're doing. There really wasn't much. It was really, I think I spoke maybe that there was a couple looks that we hadn't really practiced. Well, I don't really feel like there was really that at all. After watching the film, I thought we did a good job preparing. I thought the guys had a great week. Now you just got to, translate the numbers that you see on the football field that were in different jerseys and believe that scheme, those X's and O's that you saw in your week of preparation is who it is in a Florida State uniform. And, I think you saw it as the second half went along. They started really kind of getting into it, but it was too late. It just put us behind the eight ball. Now you got to be perfect in everything you do, and put us in a spot where we had to play catch up. And on the road, that's certainly hard to do. And those guys were feeling it. They're with Florida State. There's a chance for them. And again, together as a team, we got to find a way to overcome one side of the ball. When you need that drive for a touchdown, getting it done defensively, when you can get that big stop, getting it taken care of right there. We inched our way back in the game. That's what you got to do when you have a 17-point deficit. Again, we shouldn't get to that spot, but inching our way, something that we did better than I felt in the offseason. We've talked about, the Oklahoma game last year and how you got to try to get 7 points and make it close and put some pressure on them. And we were right there, 24-17. Really, we should have the ball 3rd and 11, on defense with 9 minutes to go. And, just how far we had come in that probably previous 10 to 15 minutes of the game, I would have felt like, man, this thing's going to happen, and that there's a real belief and confidence that I think was building on the sideline. So you just got to finish. You got to get the stops. It comes back to just that effort, but it has to happen from the very first play.
Go to the far right side of Charlie.
You're kind of sticking with that. When you say you're surprised by some of the lack of effort or intensity from players you're not expecting that from, what do you do to kind of combat that moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, these guys, they're great kids. They got high character. They believe they want it bad, and so it's just showing them, and a lot of times they already know, and making sure that We continue to be intentional. That's a word that I use a lot, and it's going to be something I use a lot more this week. Again, just be intentional on what we're trying to accomplish with quality reps, and making sure that every rep is done at a high level, from the effort to the execution.
Staying on the right side, we'll go to Nick.
Yeah, before he got hurt, Ryan Williams working inside more a little bit. How would you assess what he did and where he could continue to improve once he gets back?
Yeah, I think we'll continue to work and figure that out. There's just been so many bright moments with him inside. He never really got going, in the game before getting hurt, and so we'll continue to have to make sure we're moving him around. And last year had a great season, and a good foundation as far as us understanding what he can do on the outside. We really felt like what we had seen, especially in the fall, limited practices in the spring, but in the fall, really liked how he could get matchups in our favor and really pose some problems. You can get him from one side of the field to the other. You can get him deep. You can get him, out in the flat quick. And so there's a lot of different directions he can go. Get the ball even in the run game a little bit. So we'll keep assessing that. As we go through here, and this week will be a little trickier again with him getting limited opportunities, but that's going to allow someone else to step up and us kind of continue to figure out the dynamics of how we feel best with our receiving core and the people that should be out there in those spots.
Let's go to Mike on the back left.
You mentioned the great week before the game. Just how much do you self-scout the preparation before games, and are there times as a coach where maybe you notice during the week that things might not be going the way that you want them to?
You said, what do you mean, great week?
A great week. You said a great week of preparation.
For this week, you're saying, or are you referring to last
going
week?
up to Florida State before that game.
I said that?
You said that, yeah, before.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I think our guys did. Defensively, I felt like that we were pretty honed in. Gone back and actually looked at the practice film on some of the reps that we took that were pretty much identical to what we saw, and just trying to figure out, why were we one step or why was our communication just a little bit slower? So it's just, again, these guys have already shown me yesterday how bad they want it and how they're going to respond. And so, I really feel like the tone in the locker room after the game, at least from my standpoint, and how I can address the team is completely different than it was a year ago. And so, we don't need to speak in those terms, but it feels different. There's more of a, just flat out upset. I can use a lot of different words to explain it, but this, really upset about how it went. These aren't learning moments anymore. This is us and our program. And, again, we understand the situation we've put ourselves in and that we're in. But it is a long season. And, let's take care of business this week. And then that's going to set up the next week. And then we'll worry about that. That's been our philosophy all along, but we really got to live it now.
Go to Colin, front left.
Hey, Kalen, you talked a little bit about Ty's performance post-game, but I'm curious. He said he called every drive after the first one, he said the offense played complacent. And I'm curious to see a guy after his first start make those kind of comments. What does that say about who Ty is and how he kind of runs this offense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't hear those comments. I guess I guess the only thing I can look into is that human nature is that when it goes well on your first drive and you end up in the end zone, that there's something internal, right? It's just human nature. But I also know that we challenged the guys that it was a lot of work to get the ball down the field. It took 9 minutes, and that, as great as that was, and man, that's awesome. Like, to take that much time off the clock, keep their offense off the football field, that's what you want to do. That you had to put play after play after play. I believe it was 16 of them together. And so I guess to me, we went out there and executed a lot of drives. We just have to do a better job of sustaining it and if there's a complacency, I guess maybe not taking for granted that, you get down into their territory, that it's automatically going to happen. You got to make it happen. You got to do it, and we got to do it. And so I guess if I'm really reading into what he's saying, it's that you got to finish. You got to do it. No one else is going to go out there and magically put it in the end zone for you.
Go to front right, Kennington.
Eight penalties on Saturday. That was something that also hurt the team a year ago. What has been the strategy to eliminate those penalties? And now that you're into the season, what's the thought process of how to correct that trend?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of consequences that go along, especially the foolish penalties. The ones that happened after the whistle and things like that. So that will continue to be the case. There's just got to be better judgment when we get in those spots. And that the quarterback's going to be protected, and you can't live in the gray area. And all offseason, that was a point of emphasis. We can't afford to have every guy have his one-off time to where it's like, okay, that was his mistake. Next game, it's a different guy. We got to learn and understand. We talked about everything from what we see in other games that happened around college football, the NFL, whether it was out of season and even here after the week 0 games. And so it's certainly addressed, and now the guys just got to do it. And when they don't do it and make those mistakes, then there's consequences that we've had and we've already dealt with here, going into this week.
Emily Graves, front left.
Coach, you mentioned that response that you want the players to have and the response they want to have. How do you and your staff maximize that into translating it to on-field results come Saturday?
Yeah, what the guys need to do is cut it loose. They just need to go play. They need to block out outside noise, whatever that is, enjoy and love the game and play it the way it's meant to be played. And that was my message yesterday, is don't overthink this. Just go out there and ball out. And they know what they're doing. They need a trust and belief in the training. They need trust and belief in the reps and all the banked walkthroughs, all those, all that they've done, all the work they've put in, and go out and reap the rewards from it and go have fun doing it. And so, don't overthink this. Just go out and play and do what you love to do. And don't listen to this person that's in your ear and telling you this and that. Like, go out and just do you. And that's what these guys got to do, and enjoy it, and play with an edge too, right? Because we got something to prove, because there's obviously a piece where this weekend we fell short of what we feel like we're capable of doing, what our potential is. So go out there and prove it too, but don't put added pressure on yourself. Have fun, get it done.
Go back right, Jamie.
Hey, Coach, do you believe that you play like you practice? And if you do, is there anything you would change in practice day to day to make sure your team puts out the toughest product they can on Saturdays?
Yeah, I completely believe that you play how you practice. And that's what probably surprises you even more, is like when your assignment's sound and you have great communication. We talk about confident team is one that communicates well. You're confirming what you do to the guy behind you, in front of you, next to you. You're alerting if you're on defense what the motion is. When you see some guy tipping off that he's going to go across the formation, you're one step ahead on what that coverage structure might roll to. Communication, and then obviously the effort, and so even just urgency from and transitions from drill to drill. It's not going to be stressed. I can't even say it can be stressed anymore, because we stress it every single day in every moment of practice. And so it's just got to translate to game days. And, again, a lot of it is just, just go out there and enjoy it and have fun. You put the work in, and these guys are doing it. I always compare the off-season training in the weight room, that we're not building to be a track team and then just take our running to more running. We're taking our skill sets, our body, and how we're developing, and then also the urgency in this transitions from one station to another. We got to translate that to football. How you run on the field, how you run off the field, how you start, how you finish, the mindset that goes into all that. And so, I really believe like our guys do that at a high level. And so, we gotta make sure we keep stressing those things that we've stressed. and make the corrections here going on into this week.
All right, let's finish up with Alex here.
How do you think Ty did in terms of decision making, not just where he went with the football, but feeling pressure, knowing when to get out of the pocket and move?
I think there was a couple times where he probably could have avoided having to get to that point by just ripping it, just trusting himself. The guys were where they needed to be. The reads happened. Just, that comes along with, right, getting into the flow and just, I know they want verification on that. Okay, this is what we practiced, and it's the first game of the year. But he just cut it loose. Just like when you see the read, it isn't like they're putting 12 guys on the field. Okay, there's only 11 out there. And when this structure goes a certain way and it is what you practiced, trust and believe it. So then what that does is it forces him into, that progression or that read, being missed. And now, the next step, which I think you're referring to, and that's taking off and scrambling. And there's a time or two where he could have, made decisions that were better, but he also kept some drives alive, especially the first one. I thought he did a nice job and came up short there right at the end of the game. That's a tough one, where he came up a few inches short, but the effort was there. You could see that, trying to fight for every inch he could to keep that drive alive. So he's going to learn from it. Ty wants it. There's no doubt. I mean, he's a guy that takes ownership himself. And again, that's what we do from the coaching staff on down to our players, going into this week is just always reassessing, win or loss, like what we need to get better at, what our strengths are, and then how we got to progress and what the plan should be moving forward.
That is Kalen DeBoer in Tuscaloosa. What the guys need to do is cut it loose. They just need to go play. We will dissect what he said the last 15 minutes. Take your phone calls, your text messages. This is Reaction Monday here on Jox.
Yeah, our friends at Mandu want to remind you, you can get into downtown Homewood. How about some electrical muscle stimulation strength training? Well, it's really simple. You go to Mandu, your first visit is free, but that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to get results. Each Mandu session begins by changing into workout clothes, a specially designed suit that is set to fit under electrical suits and different cables that are conduct electricity. And after running your in-body scan, your trainer is going to wet you down the electrodes on the suit, and it's going to help you get strapped in. What's really great about this is revolutionary approach. It's all FDA approved. It's a 15-minute workout. It's low impact. It's as low impact as you can want it to be. But the 15 minutes is equivalent because of that technology to 6 hours in a gym. I can promise you're going to get results. And right now, since you're a Jox listener, you mentioned Jox, you're going to get 10%, not only your first month's membership, but throughout the life of your membership. That's right, 10% off each and every month. Mandu. So many folks have tried it. You're going to get the free workout to see if you like it. No obligations, no fine print. Mandu in downtown Homewood. Check out more. MANDUU.com. Tell Paul and the gang that Landrum from Jox sent you.
More of your texts, more of your calls. This is Reaction Monday on Jox. At 1 o'clock, we will talk to Coach Bill Clark, the former Jacksonville State UAB head coach. His weekly visit with us. We'll get his thoughts on the X's and O's of what he saw from Auburn's victory against Baylor and also the big loss for Alabama against Florida State.
Well, as we know, the Alabama heat and humidity can be brutal, but don't let it affect your home and family. Keep them comfortable with an affordable Train cooling system. They've been recognized as America's most trusted brand for 11 consecutive years, and they're the official cooling partner here at Jox. So go and find a comfort specialist near you at Train.com.
Back to the phone lines. Let's go to Chris. He's in Irondale. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Hey, fellas, how y'all doing this day?
Hey, Chris,
doing
well.
Thank you.
Hey, everything that y'all said before the press conferences, it's been on my mind. And Kalen DeBoer needs to be fired, but it's a process. I get it. He's the only way that you think that this could get better is just blind faith and hope. It's not the players. No game that we've lost last year and this game was because they had better talent than us. It is not going to get better, and it is no way it's going to get better. But they're over their head. We lose coaching matchups. Gus Malzahn played with us. The defensive coach just was out coaching. It was chess and checkers, and I'm just so frustrated looking at the future that we had coming up. We're going to lose games this year. And we're going to have to go through this process because of a high buyout. But when we tear down our program this year and lose about 4 games at least, what is it going to cost to build it back up?
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, like, where is the hope? We don't even have hope anymore. Am I wrong?
No, not based on what you've seen. You saw 13 games last year. You saw 4 losses, and they looked eerily similar to the one that we got in game 1 this year.
And that's my thing. And the frustration is so high. I'm wondering, we're at the point now. Kalen DeBoer's job, that's just a given. But what about Greg Burns and the people that hired him?
That's a very good question, because I think you're going to start hearing the beating of the drum of Greg Byrne having to own up that potentially he made a very bad hire. And just like Scott Strickland, for the most part, I mean, I know Scott Strickland just got a contract extension in Gainesville, but a lot of people were throwing darts at him because he went off and hired a couple losing coaches, including now you're waiting to see if Billy Napier is going to work out. But Greg Byrne, this was his hire. I mean, he identified him obviously very early in the process. And so far, this has been an unmitigated disaster in regards to Kalen DeBoer. And so he will have to answer to that. He'll have to answer to the Board of Trustees and the people that signed off on this contract that is now slated to pay him $77 million until 2031, which means it would cost Alabama $69.3 million to get rid of him today.
I got one last question before we go. When I get off the phone and I just listen, but how many records is DeBoer breaking? Like, since he's been there, he's breaking record after record after record. And they're not the good ones.
No, you're right. And as a matter of fact, there's a new one that Alabama had never lost a game in August in the history of the program until Saturday. First loss ever by the University of Alabama in the month of August.
It's pathetic. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. Hey, thank you guys.
Hey,
so
thank
much.
you for listening. We appreciate you calling us here on Labor Day. But you didn't know that stat, did you?
No.
Ever.
No.
Never lost a game in the month of August.
And going back to what Chris said, and we've heard it from a lot of our listeners, based on what we thought about this Alabama team, and I kept asking the question, how good does Ty Simpson need to be? Does he have to be great? Does he have to pull plays out of his you-know-what like we saw at times from Jalen Milroe? The consistent answer was no, because of what he has around him. Offensive line, run the football.
Offensive line, according to Pro Football Focus, was the #1 offensive line in all of college football.
Don't have to force it. High percentage throws. You got plenty of weapons on the outside. All of that may be true. We didn't see a whole lot of that on Saturday. But then on the defensive side, defense is going to be good. So how good does Ty Simpson have to be now?
Well, I can tell you this, that I would not be surprised at all if Ty Simpson does not perform to the level that he needs to against an opponent like Louisiana Monroe. First off, I think you're going to see Austin Mack get some more reps in this next week's games, whether Alabama's up by 21 or Alabama's up by 10. I think you will see Austin Mack. I'm not saying that there's a quarterback competition because Ty Simpson won the job based on the way he performed in the fall. But when you've got your coach standing up in front of the media after the game and today, what the guys need to do is cut it loose. They just need to go play. They need to block out noise, play with an edge, go have fun. Don't overthink this. I mean, I know that's a very simplistic view of what they need to go out and do.
That's going to go over like a you-know-what in a punch bowl.
Exactly.
Fans right now.
And when the text messages that we've been getting off the air, on our phones, and through the radio station, people are fed up with this type of verbiage from Kalen DeBoer. They're not buying it because the proof is in the pudding. We're not talking about a situation where Hugh Freeze had to come into Auburn and you didn't have the talent. Alabama's got the talent.
Yeah, this is not Nick Saban taking over in year one with a depleted roster and, oh my gosh, look what he's got to work with.
This is not me and you creating something out of thin air because we're in Birmingham, Alabama, that Alabama's got one of the best rosters talent-wise on paper in all of college football. That's been recognized by everyone in the industry. So where is the disconnect between you in the locker room with this wonderful roster and the fact that you've already lost 5 games at the University of Alabama to teams that you had no business losing to?
And for someone who asked what could Alabama show against their next 2 opponents that would completely change your mind about how you feel now based on what we saw on Saturday? Nothing. All due respect, and I got good friends on that staff at La Monroe. I'm not going to learn anything about Alabama. Against Wisconsin, I'm really not going to learn anything about Alabama against Wisconsin. Unfortunately, the next time that we see Alabama when I can learn something, it's going to be on the road at Sanford Stadium against Georgia. And what we saw Saturday? Oof. Get ready.
We got texts, we got calls. We'll get to those next on 3 Man Front.
12:34 Reaction Monday. We've heard from Auburn coach Hugh Freeze. We heard from Kalen DeBoer. Their live press conferences. We carry them here on the show every single Monday. We'll get back to your phone calls. Before we get to your texts, let's go to Keith in Birmingham. Hey, Keith, how are you?
Hey, guys, I'm doing good. Yeah, it was definitely an interesting weekend, to say the least. The one thing I would say is, timing perspective. Like, everybody, gets on the whole, we're on a dynasty or we're down or the end of the world. There's a lot of different angles you can look at all this. It's all timing. Like, Auburn went through their thing. Bama's gone through their thing. I'm personally an Auburn guy. My dad played there. We have a lot of history at Auburn. I've had a ton of respect for Alabama and what they've done. Some of my favorite players have actually been Alabama players, Rolanda McClain being one that I saw that looked like basically LeBron James compared to everybody else. So I have a different kind of view on it all, and I get it. I know why everybody's upset. But in the end, I think this is a good lesson of, don't get too high when you go on these runs. When you go on a 6-7 year run where y'all are just balling out, don't talk a bunch of crap about all your friends and then have to eat a little bit of crow when it goes the other way, and the same thing for Auburn. So that's my only point of view, is that I think we all can learn from the ups and downs. I'm not saying Bama's never going to come back. They will. They're going to do great, I'm sure, at some point. DeBoer's not the worst thing in the world. The quarterback looks a little rough, I will say, but I don't know. It's just my point of view on it.
Hey, good stuff. Thanks for the phone call, Keith.
Landrum and I were just having a very interesting conversation off the air. And again, these polls mean absolutely nothing when it comes to the college football playoff, but it will be interesting tomorrow when the polls come out after this weekend's games. Where does Auburn fit in the top 25? How far does Alabama fall? Florida State, a top 25 team. Where are they? Are they ahead of the team that beat them, or excuse me, that they beat in Tallahassee? Or does Bama still get enough respect where they're ahead? Also, and he does it each and every week, but Brett McMurphy from On3, he does his bowl projections. And so keep in mind, last week, before week one, he had Alabama playing in the college football playoff. Matter of fact, getting a win, I think, in the college football playoff. Well, this week,
Please tell me he's got them in Birmingham.
No, he does not have them in Birmingham. He's actually got them in the in Nashville, Tennessee, playing Indiana.
Okay. All righty.
So we go from
The Signetti Bowl.
the Alabama Crimson Tide playing in the college football playoff and actually winning a game. Matter of fact, I think he had them as a bye. And then now he's got them playing in the Music City Bowl. Meanwhile, he's got Auburn playing in the Gasparilla Bowl against Virginia Tech. So I think that Auburn is definitely going to be the team that you will see accelerating upwards in the trajectory of the season, while Alabama, they're going to meet each other because Auburn's going to be going one way and Alabama's going to be going the other way.
Alabama and IU in Nashville. I'll go ahead and say it. I'll be there if it happens.
You'll be there?
Yeah. We got family that's
right.
Big IU folks, and I'm trying to think, besides a championship game or the championship on the line being the SEC, or I'm trying to remember the last time that I went to an Alabama bowl game where there was nothing on the line.
So according to Brett McMurphy, I'm just sitting here looking at his updated list. He's got Tulane versus Miami. Miami would be a 5. Notre Dame a 9 versus Florida State. So Florida State is now a college football playoff team after one game. We're talking about how bad Alabama is. So it kind of goes like this. Is Florida State really that good?
Somewhere in the middle.
Or is Alabama really that bad?
I've always been told it's somewhere in the middle.
So where is it?
Alabama's not as bad as they look, but Florida State is not as good as they look.
So then all of a sudden everyone thinks that Florida State is going to be a college football playoff team. Okay. Sure. All right. He's got Clemson as an 11 seed going against number 6 Texas. Clemson loses at home in a close game to LSU, and so now they're an 11 seed.
That was a really good football.
I mean, just overreaction. It's just amazing. Number 10, Utah against number 7, Oregon. And then obviously the buys would be number 4, Penn State, number 1, Ohio State, number 2, LSU, number 3, Georgia. So Georgia smokes a nobody.
Where's LSU? Are they top 5 in the polls this week?
Oh, easily. Yeah.
I would think so.
I think they're probably number 2. I think they'll be behind Ohio State.
Should be.
Yeah, absolutely. Molly, I know you've got some text messages. Landrum's got a whole bank of them, and now I know you've got some.
Yeah, these are all texts that we got from over the weekend.
The old weekend dirty texts.
Oh, that's these.
Those are the drunk texts.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them I had to clean up a little bit.
Yeah,
so
proceed with caution.
Yeah,
I would say
please
so.
be careful.
All right, first off, Alabama. Dynasty in name only. 5 losses since 2024. That ain't dominance. That's a dumpster fire, says Drew in Gadsden.
Yeah, it's not dominance. You're right, Drew.
Dumpster fire it is.
It's a dumpster fire.
Just a bunch of hot trash.
This one says, Kalen DeBoer looks like he's coaching with training wheels on. Discipline, execution, what happened to my Tide? I'm afraid we made the wrong coaching hire. Should have been Norvell. That's Floyd from Decatur.
Well, I'm not ready to anoint Mike Norvell the new Nick Saban of college football.
Why? He's now listed. They're going to go to the college football playoff now. FSU Dave is buying tickets in Atlanta for the college football playoff.
Maybe so.
Dropped passes, penalties, soft defense. Florida State looked like the Tide's dress rehearsal. Brutal coaching decisions. I have lost faith in all of our coaches. That's Steven and Hoover.
That's a really general theme on the coaching staff.
Common sentiment.
Johnny Manziel said it best. Nobody fears Alabama anymore. That fear factor is dead in italicized. And deservedly so. That's Grady from Bessemer.
I think what was it, a player or a coach that told us a couple of years ago, it was the Alabama factor, it was the Nick Saban factor. When you played them, it was even that build-up, trying not to be psyched out before the game because you saw that presence on the sideline in Alabama and what it had meant, especially with all the recent success. I think some of that has faded away.
Stephen A. Smith basically told us that the Saban era is over. Spoiler alert. It ended last year. Wake up, fans. This isn't a rebuilding. It's unraveling. Alabama's no longer a measuring stick. That's Wade from Birmingham.
My question is, when are people going to stop rushing the field when they beat Alabama?
Never.
Is it this year? When Alabama's, 3-8?
I think it was just because Florida State beat an FBS opponent.
So it wasn't because it was Alabama. It's just the fact that Florida State had lost 10 games last year, and it's been a long time since they actually
I'm going to give them some credit there. Yeah.
celebrated.
That's why their fans did it. I think it did have to do with Alabama. But you're right. When does that stop? How many losses is it going to take?
Everybody knows how I feel about that anyway.
Right.
I mean, it's just stupid. I mean, people every single one of them ought to be locked up.
I'll tell you when it's
arrested.
going to stop. It will stop September 27th when they go to Athens.
That is true. Because
Georgia fans will not rush the
people will
field
not rush the field
when they beat Alabama.
But all these other ridiculous
If they beat
programs,
Alabama.
they.
Is it too soon to say when? Or should I say if? I'll say if they beat Alabama.
Yeah, I would just say if, because you don't want to put yourself in a corner like Conrad.
No. What do you think the line is on that game right now, real time? Georgia 6?
I would say more than a touchdown.
I was thinking about a touchdown.
Okay.
Might be more.
Penalties. Dumb penalties. No discipline, and that's self-inflicted. That's on the coaching staff, and this is the weakest Alabama team I've seen since Coach Fran's tenure. DeBoer must be fired. That's Greg from Tuscaloosa.
Well, if someone's got $69.3 million around that they would like to give to the university, I'm sure Greg Byrne would take your phone call.
Garrett in Pelham says, you can say week 1, but this was the same sloppy script from last year. No accountability, no execution. I'd pay whatever a month to help raise the funds to fire DeBoer. He's made us a laughingstock of a program.
Don't know your financial situation, but that's a lot of installments, a lot of payments.
Yep.
Yeah, what kind of interest you looking at?
First opener loss since 2001, and the passion from the Bammer fans flashing middle fingers. Actually, viral anger. Yikes. It's good to be an Auburn Tiger this morning, or Eagle. And that's not from Don Don. That's Chad from Montgomery.
Yeah, Chad brings up a great point in regards to, I'm sure the parents of that young man are
Yeah.
really proud about their son flipping off national television. That's class.
Oh, look, honey, it's Colton. Oh, no. Colton! Colton!
Put that finger down.
Put that finger down.
Oh, he's shooting the bird, Larry.
And Larry's like, that's my boy.
Well, he should. That was towards DeBoer.
I'd have put 2 up.
Tua?
2 up.
This one says, FSU ran all over us, 230 rushing yards on 49 attempts. DeBoer, that's your defense. Fire your DC today. Embarrassing to let Gus Bus run all over us.
You remember the beginning of last year how Kane Womack, how it was kind of going down the road to Pete Golding in regards to the way. But, to his credit, second half of the year, I know Oklahoma kind of got sideways, but offense did not help at all in that game. But, I thought the defense towards
got
the
better
back
as
end.
it-
Yeah, they got
as it-
better.
yeah.
I mean, they're not going to be confused with the 1992 Alabama defense, but I thought it was respectable. But my goodness, I mean, I guess the point that frustrates a lot of fans is because you're not in the film room every single day looking at stuff. But you and I could have gone to the white chalkboard and you and I could have diagrammed some of the plays that Gus Malzahn was going to run.
How many years did we watch it?
You had all summer long to go back and pull every single play that Gus Malzahn has called in his career. And you had Womack, who knows Gus Malzahn personally. Like, how did you not know?
You're gonna get a lot of window dressing. You're gonna get a lot of eye candy. Maybe formationally they set it up in a different way, but it's still the same play. Like Lucas, their little speedster, number 12, Waterbug. That play, how many times do we see him run that at Auburn? Substitute in whatever Auburn player it was for that season. You knew you were going to get it. You waited all. And you know what? Kudos to Antonio Langham. And I told you guys this off the air.
Yep.
But for the past 3 weeks, we have the honor of and privilege of going and being able to, we sit together at church and praise Jesus together. But those conversations, and Antonio kept telling me, I don't know where everybody is, and I'm paraphrasing, getting off that Alabama's going to run this game. Gus Malzahn, that offense, it scares me. This is going to be a problem on Saturday. He didn't say Alabama was going to lose. He said this is going to be a problem. Quit dismissing Gus in that offense. And, boy, we got it in a big way, didn't we?
Sure did. Getting back to school in a new GMC, that's what you need to be concentrating on right now. Of all this bad football talk, you need to talk about something positive. I'm talking about these great deals at Courtesy GMC in Trussville. You'll find the lowest prices in the Southeast, not just Birmingham or in Alabama. I'm talking about the Southeast. You can find it right there in Trussville off of I-459 exit 32 at Courtesy GMC. GMC Sierra 1500, plenty in stock. You can save up to $17,000. How about a Sierra 2500 HD? Get up to $13,000 off. Yukon XL. Top performing SUVs you're going to find anywhere. You can save up to $5,000 off of those excellent models. 2026 Acadias now on the lot as we speak. I drive an Acadia AT4. I love this off-road oriented trim level. Get by and see Courtesy GMC today or visit their online inventory at courtesybirmingham.com, home of the 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, just off of I-459 exit 32 in Trussville. That's Courtesy GMC.
More of your texts, more of your phone calls as you react to what happened over the weekend. Coach Bill Clark at the top of the hour. He'll give his thoughts. We continue this Reaction Monday 3-man front here on the home for college football and more. Jox.
On this Reaction Monday, we do have a little baseball news to pass along to you. Banana Ball is coming to Plainsman Park at Auburn. The Savannah Bananas announced today that they will take on Auburn, the baseball team, down at Plainsman Park. How about that? On Saturday, October the 25th at 7 p.m. So if you've never had an opportunity to see the Savannah Bananas in person, I know they were in Birmingham not too long ago. They had an event at Rickwood. I think they had a couple of nights at Regents Field in downtown. So now the Auburn baseball team will get a chance to take on Banana Ball on October 25th.
Have you ever seen the Bananas live?
Not in person.
It's really impressive to watch their highlights and what they do.
I haven't seen it either, like live.
Super impressive.
Actually, I know a banana.
What does that mean?
A guy on the Savannah Bananas.
Who is it?
Kyle Perry. He went to Nebraska.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He's one of the pitchers.
Is he jealous of Swelly?
I don't know.
I'm sure the two contracts probably pale. But I digress. Let's get back to your phone calls. Robert has been holding for over 2 hours. That means he's got something to say. Robert, how are you?
Good afternoon. First of all, thank y'all for being in studio on this Labor Day. I wanted to first of all say this was a very disappointing performance for Alabama. I think the problem was the defensive game plan. I did not like the fact that they tried to play a lot of man coverage against this scheme. They looked like the misdirection, the shifts, the motions were all confusing the defense and causing them to play hesitant. And offensively, I'm disturbed by the fact this is, 7 or 8 straight games now that Ryan Williams has not had more than 100 yards receiving. And I heard Kalen DeBoer say on his press conference that we want to line them up inside, outside. We want to put them in different positions at wide receiver spot to try to get him involved. I don't think Ty Simpson is the problem. I really don't. They do not need to change quarterbacks. They do need to do better on the offensive line. I'm hoping that the Jalen Roberts will be able to play this week. But as far as the fans go, look, I'm disappointed as any Alabama fan out there. I've been an Alabama fan since the 1970s. I remember when I was a little boy watching the Coach Bryant show on Sundays. And this was a disheartening loss, no question about it. But I don't like this talk I'm hearing from some of these folks just completely giving up on the season. I mean, there's 11 games still left, okay? And as bad as this loss feels, all of Alabama's goals are still in front of them, okay? We saw what happened to Notre Dame last year. They lose to a measly Northern Illinois team, and they wind up the national title game. And just 2 years ago, Alabama lost to Texas in week 2 and ended up in winning the SEC and going to the college football playoff. I know they lost to Michigan, but still, my point is the Alabama schedule strength should help them prevail if they were to lose another game or two. But we got to think like NFL fans, folks. I mean, NFL, we've had one undefeated season in that over 100-plus year history. We're not going to see more undefeated teams left. I agree with what Steve Sarkisian said. And we got, and myself included, everybody just needs to understand it's one game. And
Robert, thank you so much. We're up against it. Coach Bill Clark gives us his thoughts on Alabama, Auburn, and more. He's next.